It is Saturday. It is 3 p.m., which can only mean one thing. It is time to go running, son. Welcome to Prepper Nation. This is John. Obviously, thank you very much for watching, for listening, for shooting a thumbs up, for subscribing to the channel. Truly appreciate that. We are helping the numbers over here at Prepper Nation, but you're also helping the next person behind you trying to find the videos and things. This is the rundown. This is your show. We did not have a rundown this week, so we're actually covering two videos. I've condensed it so it's not taking up everybody's time here. But I want to start off by saying use caution. As a matter of fact, I'll probably put that as the thumbnail art or something like that. Use caution because I've been watching the news all day. Of course, this is the big day of fear. There have been a few incidents, but nothing major so far. Fingers crossed on that. We hope that's the case. But moving forward, once today is over, continue to use caution because these people really don't need much of a reason. And as I'm watching the stuff unfold, between Gaza and Israel, I don't know that they have the firepower to hit out at Israel again and do major damage, but they're not going to stop trying to do damage, which makes me really look hard at places like Australia, the United States, France, Great Britain, where there are high concentrations of these people that have this ideology. But anyway, just continue to use caution, situational awareness, continue to have your head on a swivel. So let's jump back a couple of days to a video that we did called A Rough Life. So we were talking about, do you ever miss being a zombie for 5 minutes so you can kind of relax for 5 minutes and pretend like the world is absolutely okay? Ashley LC21 says, yes, I miss it. We used to spend our money on pretty things. We did, didn't we? It's again, it's hard to think back almost to a time when I was not what you would consider a prepper. And I can remember at that time buying a lot of because I'm into retro video games for anybody that doesn't know. But honestly, over the past 6 months, 7 months, I haven't bought anything. In fact, I've sold a lot of this stuff off. For you nerds out there, I kept the classic NES, the original, and the stacks of carts, box carts that I have, and I have a Neo Geo Gold system. Beyond that, I've sold most of the rest of it off. I've got a newer Xbox. But yeah, the money gets diverted to what I would consider to be more important things now. And just heads up real quick, I may not be in chat. I'm probably not going to be in chat with y'all. It's not that I don't care, it's that I'm a couple of hours away from the old Ponderosa today. So if I'm driving, I'm obviously not going to be in chat. Laurel Wolf, homesteading is like prepping, slow and steady. So I'd made the comment how hard homesteading was, and it was. We tried it out not even a week, probably 5, maybe 6 days, and we just decided this ain't for us. We didn't even have critters out back or anything. It's just it wasn't for us. It seemed like I'm not trying to whine here, but it seemed like we had no time for anything outside of trying to grow, trying to can. We were out here, we were vacuum sealing, we were throwing into a freezer, we were trying to do those things. And we still do those things, but not constantly. You know what I mean? If we've got a free day here or there, some canning takes place. Sahara 200. We can't change what's happening, but we can change the way we think and the way we deal with things. And that's prepping for me at least in a nutshell. When you make that decision, when that light switch goes off and you go from zombie or kid, as I referred to it this week, to prepper, um, you begin to see the world in a different way. And it forces you, and again, it's exhausting sometimes, but it forces you to look at the world in a different way and to respond in a different way. Again, your shopping habits change. Kelly and Rambo had left the comment, many people did actually, that they also sit in the corner when they're in restaurants and things. Maybe this is how we identify preppers out in the wild. Who's sitting in the corners? I don't know, but it just changes the way you approach everything. And but that's a good thing, right? Even though it's exhausting sometimes. Kentucky Ready. I don't get burnout. I get overwhelmed sometimes, and usually it has to do with running out of room. Yeah, room is a major concern here. Some people got room for days and they got, maybe they got 20 rooms in their house, 25 rooms. They're just stacking everywhere. We don't have that. So we have to be clever. We have to use the under the beds and the bottoms of the closets and every nook and cranny that we possibly can. So the struggle is real. Happy to see you. Glad my eyes are open, but sometimes I miss peaceful, ignorant bliss. Wasn't it nice just for 5 minutes to believe the lie that we've been told, by mainstream media and to be focused on other things, you know, rather than be awake. I'm glad I'm awake. I'd much rather be awake, but man, 5 minutes. Put me back in the matrix for 5 minutes and give me a breather, son. Annie, 5514. Non-preppers are scary. I know a doll collector, and then Annie goes on to say they had an entire room full. I take it these expensive porcelain dolls. That's kind of weird. I guess to each their own. The doll collector's looking at retro games like, son, you're just sitting over there pissing money away or something. But to each their own. I guess somebody's just heavily into dolls. Maybe they, oh boy. Hopefully, they got a few beavers up on the shelf too, because they're gonna have to be eating no beaver, so to speak, if they run out of food. Or the porcelain dolls, whatever they choose to eating at that point. Because if their obsession is doll collecting, I don't know how awake they could be. Man, maybe they're the grayest prepper on earth. Who knows? But yeah, that was a little bit odd. I don't want to ramble too much, but we stopped at it was a house, yard, and garage sale one time, and we went into this room, and they also collected dolls. And my son actually, he was into Pokemon at that time. He found some Pokemon cards or something like that, but we were kind of weirded out. Like they had shelves built on the walls with porcelain dolls. So yeah, those people are out there. South Texas prepper. I get hyped up when preppers are vindicated. They're talking about all of the stuff that we've been right about over the course of the last few years. Preppers went from crazy, and sometimes they're still labeled crazy. Some of them probably are legitimately nuts, hence the zombie parody video this past week. But most preppers are just sitting back right now like, I told you so. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so, and God help the people that are still asleep because they ain't ever waking up. Switching over now to yesterday, Friday morning's video, Day of Fear, because it was the big day, right? Where all this violence was called for against, the Jewish community and Christians and non-believers of the Islam faith. The Wild Bunch said, "Lost my Second Amendment right. Lost my Second Amendment right 11 years ago due to drunk driving. Haven't had a drink since, but no longer allowed to own a gun." And I'm going to say something that's probably going to be controversial here. Y'all don't hate me for saying this. This is just my opinion on it, my position on this. Okay. Number one, everybody makes mistakes. We've all made them. Ain't nobody perfect. I've made mistakes. And I feel like, first of all, I think taking somebody's Second Amendment right away is illegal to begin with. But I also feel like if somebody went through the justice system when they've done something wrong and they went through the justice system and they paid their fines or they did their time or whatever, they should no longer be judged, especially when it comes to the Second Amendment. You know what I mean? It's the correctional system. Well, if the individual is corrected, and in this case they haven't touched alcohol since that day, They've obviously corrected course and they're not going to make that mistake again. This person needs to own firearms. That's ridiculous to me. But again, just my opinion. William Goldwire, not in America. He's talking about the violence. They don't want no smoke. That's exactly how he put it. I feel like I know this person. I feel like because of the way they talk on here, they don't want no smoke. I feel like have known this person my whole life. And I think you're right, especially rural America. I think some of this stuff does fly in cities because cities have gotten away with it. People get conditioned. And when cities allow things for so long, people just get used to it happening. There's this slow conditioning going on, but it really is like night and day. Inner city versus rural America, it's like two different countries, and it really does not fly here. John Adams. Oh my goodness, I love the name. No, John. Illegals have no legal right to protest. So I said yesterday morning, peaceful protesting is okay. And I get what you're saying. And technically speaking, you're right, John Adams. Illegals have no legal right to protest in this country, but they also really have no legal right to collect benefits. They have no legal right to vote. They're doing a lot of things, excuse me, that they should not be doing legally. And as long as somebody is going to protest peacefully, I have no problem with that. What in the world? I have no problem with that. It's the mostly peaceful protesting that I take issue with. And I think, again, violence should be met with counter violence, especially when you're not in the wrong on it. But I understand what you're saying. This one is special to me. Dog Man, if you were out there, I appreciate you checking the videos out every single day in the replay crowd for years now. Dogman has left the same comment. Dogman here, Salt Lake City, every day, like clockwork. And Dogman, I just put that down here. I want you to know I see those, brother, and I appreciate it. That's his way of letting me know I watch the video every day. This man is faithful. He's loyal. He's an OG here. He doesn't conversate a lot, but he just leaves that to make his mark. He's marking his territory like a dog. There, dog man. Ed Benoit, you have to be off the streets before 3 p.m. in major cities. So I'm not sure if you're talking about today, the day of fear and total chaos, or if that's every day. Because again, brother, I'm not in a major city. I'll say this. If you're in a major city and that's the mindset that you have to be at home by 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock before the sun goes down, it's kind of like I Am Legend with Will Smith. You know how he rushes home and he's got to be home before dark because that's when the zombies come out. That comment kind of gives me that vibe. Like you're in a city, you're living a normal life during the day or semi-normal, but there's a certain time that you've got to be back home. I couldn't imagine living that way. I'll just be honest with you about it. Bernard Shreve, Detroit could be bad as well. Lots of Muslims who hate America. This is really what I don't understand, and I've never been able to comprehend this. Why you would move and immigrate to a country that you hate. This is something that I would debate anybody on this. Maybe they have that ideology and they have that faith. I would ask them, what are you doing here? Our customs, you hate our customs. You find everything offensive here. You want this place to look like the Middle East where you're from, but literally the Middle East is still there. Why are you not there? I don't understand this. You're coming here willingly to live in America, a place that you hate, surrounded by customs that you hate. I guess it's strange to me because I would not go to a country where they had lifestyles and customs that I was offended by and that I hated all of the time, and then expect that country to change for me and to conform for me. It really makes no sense to me. Bama Jen, we were talking about carrying, even in areas maybe where you're not allowed to carry, cities and things. And Bama Jen said, allow. What does that even mean? It means compliance. you know this, but a lot of people, they comply. They don't want that $200 ticket and that court appointment, so they're just going to not carry, and they're not going to carry in downtown in cities that are super violent and not well policed, and to me, that also makes no sense. I would prefer to carry illegally and have means to defend myself if it came down to it and explain myself later in court. Even if they threw me in jail, at least I'm still alive. This is how I view it. Steve Wilkins, we have no idea how many sleeper cells there are in this country. We do not. There's not a website I could go to and pull that information up. I did go to the NRA though. They currently have 5 million registered members. So to me, that's a sleeper cell of patriots waiting for something to happen. We have so many millions veterans. Most of those are armed. Many of those are in the NRA. Some are not. I mean, again, getting back to the other comment, they don't want no smoke. They really don't. Um, you can get by with certain things in Chicago and New York City and Atlanta and Detroit that you're not going to get away with outside those city limits. And I'll leave it there. And finally, Savage Lee was talking about identifying yourself, because I'd said the backup plan, come to rule America. And some people were leaving comments saying, no, with all due respect, don't come here, because we don't want cities pouring out and all of this stuff. But Savage Lee is saying, if you're going to come to rule America, have a Gadsden flag, because people that hate this country, people that hate freedom, they're probably not going to be flying that flag. When you get to rule America, trust me, you're still going to be vetted. People are going to want to know who you are, what you're about, the whole 9 yards, right? But at least if we see that flag coming, we know these are patriotic people. These are not Tifa scumbags that are coming to the local towns and things. So I appreciate the comments. Again, appreciate y'all being here. Whether you're live chat or replay crowd, doesn't really matter. Y'all rock it each and every day. And I appreciate you being here for the rundown special Saturday edition, right? Until Monday morning, y'all take care and God bless.